السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Inshallah, as Ramadan closes out, I want to touch upon a topic that will help us transition from living day to day as we did in Ramadan to living month to month as we will soon. And that is the topic of goal setting. The reason why I bring up goal setting in the first place is because we as individuals, we have a ton of goals. Whether it be physical, spiritual, financial, maybe with our family, we have a lot of goals. But what can happen is that as we have a ton of goals, we don't put in the effort and time into actually fulfilling them. And months go by, years go by, we don't actually fulfill any of them. We don't make progress into them. We turn 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80. And now, what those goals that we envisioned ourselves when we were younger hitting, they're far away. And this is something that Rasulullah ﷺ tells us about in a hadith, that there are two things we are deceived into losing. Two things. That is health and free time. And these two things are the things that are needed really to achieve our goals, to hit our goals. And so, not only as we get older do we lose health and free time, we also lose the ability to hit our goals. So on that note, I would like to give some advice so that these upcoming months that will come after Ramadan will be months of progress, rather than months of not actually having any progress at all. The first piece of advice I will give, and this is the most important piece of advice I will give about setting goals. If there's anything you take away from what I'm about to say, take away this part right here. That is to plan monthly and yearly. Plan monthly and yearly. And write it down and hang it up. When you're able to write down your goals, when you're able to hang up your goals, you're able to see it every day. You're able to see where your arrow is supposed to be headed. A lot of times when we wake up, there's a lot of whims and desires that come into our mind and we follow a new direction every day. But when you're able to write down your goals that you really want to hit, you're able to focus that, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do today. And the real purpose why I've mentioned monthly goals, why you write down what you want to hit this month, is so that when you wake up and you see that goal list, you're able to plan out action items that you can hit that day, so that you may get just that bit closer to hitting your goals. Because as we know, with any goal that we might have, it doesn't come within the matter of a day. It doesn't come within the matter of a week. It takes years and years before we actually hit those goals that we want to hit. The second piece of advice I will give is to make dua. This is something that is embedded within our religion. This is something we know Rasulullah ﷺ did countless times. And the real reason why I'm mentioning dua when it comes to goal setting is that we know that no matter how much effort and time we put into hitting our goals, it will never come into fruition unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills it for us. Unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives permission for our efforts to actually come into fruition. So make constant dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us success in whatever goals we may have. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for exactly that. Say Ameen. The third piece of advice I will give is to seek advice. Is to actually seek advice. When we go to the elder brother we know, when we go to the elder sister that we know, when we go to the individuals that are striving like we are towards the goals that we want, we're able to learn from their mistakes. We're able to learn from their advice, and we're able to get just that much closer towards hitting our goals and making ourselves more efficient in hitting our goals. And this is something that is within our religion ourselves. It's one of the rights we have over one another, is to actually give good counsel, good advice to one another. So if a brother comes up to us and asks us about advice, maybe on lifting, or maybe a sister comes up to us and asks us advice about modesty or learning or teaching or anything of that matter, it's our right to give them good advice. It's the right they have over us. So with these three pieces of advice, I urge every single one of us to go home tonight, write down our goals. Write down our goals for this upcoming year, write down our goals for these upcoming months, and act upon them every single day. So that we may get, even though it's inches that we move every day, over the course of a year, you move a whole mile, you move the whole track. You go across so far, more than you've ever thought you would before. And this is how we actually make progress. This is something we know Rasulullah ﷺ did. Even though he moved little by little, it wasn't that many Muslims that he was preaching to at first, but look at where the Ummah is today. Look at where the Ummah is today. How many Muslims are there on this earth? How many Muslims have passed away? Countless and countless Muslims. But where did he start? He started with the very few Muslims that he preached to in Mecca. So I urge every single one of us to make goals so that we may become better Muslims, better individuals, better family members, and more pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'll end off by asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us steadfast on our goals. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us steadfast in our religion. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help all those Muslims that are oppressed and grant them all ease. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار Jazakallah khair.